All right, so let's break that down a bit. You have the Lakers and you have the Golden State Warriors. How big, CC, is the gap between these two teams?
Well, this is the thing, and I can't do it because I have to give the Warriors credit for, like, who they are. Not just as an organization, because when the ownership took over, it was not the organization that we consider the Golden State Warriors today. Like, they have spent a lot of money. They've made a lot of good decisions. They made some tough decisions. Mark Jackson, to bring him back, to bring Steve Kerr, chance him out, first time being a coach. What about the overall development of all those players? Forget about before when they got KD, but Steph. There was a point in Steph's career where, man, people were wondering, what kind of NBA player is he going to be?
And just the choosing the players in the draft.
Yes.
Like Oklahoma City, when they had KD, Russ, and Harden, got a ton of credit for drafting those guys. And those were great picks. But those guys were all top 5 picks. Steph was taken after a couple point guards. Clay was taken outside of the top 8. Draymond, a second-round pick. Like that, the organically grown Warriors, it's the development and saying, we want these guys. How about not trading Clay for Kevin Love?
Yes.
Back when that was at the time, people were like, how could you not trade him for Kevin Love? Jerry West actually stepped in and said, you're not trading him for Kevin Love. That's stuff they deserve a ton of credit for.
Yeah, so when you start breaking down, like, how close are these teams, Houston is a little bit different. They got some accomplished players. They got some players, even their coach, that have gotten really, really close. So when you try to compare Houston and Golden State, it's a different comparison. But where the Lakers are, absent of LeBron, they don't have a proven coach. All their young players, I can't just give them credit for player development. I can't give, man, Steph was not the shooter 5 years ago he is today. He's so much better. Why? Because of the work, because of even having setbacks, even the overall perseverance. His first couple finals, not spectacular. So I can't move the Lakers in the same class as Golden State because it takes too much hard work. They've made too many good decisions. They have too many, I'm talking about once every generation type players. I don't know what Ingram's going to be. Lonzo Ball, what kind of player is he going to be? Can LeBron, in this growing stage with these young players, what is LeBron going to do? You know, is he going to play more in the post? Is he going to handle the ball? So, no, man, Golden State is in a class by themselves. Now, I do believe that the Lakers are 1 or 2 players away from being in the conversation. But if they were to be one of the final 4 teams in the West, to me, that's not a bad season.
Listen, if they had added Kawhi this week instead of him going to the Raptors, then we can start to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So here is the hierarchy in the West. Golden State is up here. I think Golden State got better this offseason. I think the Rockets, due to age and atrophy, got a little bit worse. So the Rockets are right here. And then there's 5 teams right there. Okay, so who are the Lakers competing with? The Spurs, who got better in an odd way compared to the Spurs from last year because they're adding DeRozan in a spot where they didn't have Kawhi Leonard last year. Oklahoma City, we know where they were. I think they will still be right around that same place, and I think the addition of Dennis Schroeder is good for them. How about Utah? You know how I feel about young players, and even if you don't add a guy that we expect the great young players to get better, Utah, and then there's Portland still lurking. That's not even to mention Minnesota, Denver, teams that I think will be a tick below. So the question is, to me, will the Lakers be at the top of that group of 5 as the 3 seed? Or will they be closer to the bottom of that group of 5 as the 6 or 7 seed? Like, that's the question I have right now. Not about the Lakers versus Golden State. They do not have the personnel.
But is it possible to, if you squinted just a little, say maybe the Lakers are a Warriors injury away or an Ingram having a monster year away? I mean, you talked about all the potential that the Warriors had when we didn't know what Steph was going to become and we weren't sure if we agreed with the Clay trade. But all of a sudden, you have a ton of young potential on this team who are a season or 2 away from having, like, breakout seasons and turning into a shell or perhaps who they really are, plus LeBron at the helm with all that. And now you're a year away from maybe getting a landing a big free agent. I mean, realistically, how far away are they?
We can squint, and it's hard to see one of the Lakers being as good as Klay Thompson individually. I can squint, and I got hellacious vision. It's hard for me to see anyone being a better pro than Steph. I haven't even got to KD yet. And I can squint. I believe that Walton as a coach is going to work out. But to think he's going to be as good as Steve Kerr has been, that's just really, really hard. So the task is, it's a monumental task of the things that they would have to achieve. They could have spectacular second seasons and still not be where Golden State is at this point.
And the guy that people will point to on the Lakers, other than LeBron, obviously, that could be the star, the second star, is Brandon Ingram. And I just want to caution that a touch. We were in the office this morning, actually, because one of our producers, Deontay, yesterday was tweeting about Carmelo Anthony should have won Rookie of the Year over LeBron his rookie year. So I actually looked into Carmelo and LeBron's rookie seasons, and CC, your stepson, Austin, was doing the same thing. Carmelo Anthony as a rookie averaged 21 points a game. 21 points a game. Why am I bringing that up? Because he turned into a professional scorer from the moment he got there. Brandon Ingram as a rookie averaged 8. In his second year, he averaged 16. Typically, the guys that have that trajectory aren't going to be superstar caliber players. Now, they might make an all-star game one day.
Yes.
But unless you come into... Kevin Durant came into the league as a 20-point-a-game guy.
Yes, there are very few Kawhi Leonards.
Right, and there's very few Giannis's. Like Giannis, you understood why it took him a long time. He was coming from a different country.
He hadn't been exposed to basketball at this level, yes.
Brandon Ingram went to Duke, he's from here. He came in, and so we're going to see progression. But the superstar leap, if it happens, it's going to take a Kawhi progression, a slow but steady build. What the Lakers are, and I mentioned it last week, CC mentioned it this week, and now the Lakers are talking about themselves. Could they present a small ball lineup to combat Golden State? Like right now, it would be Lonzo, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, LeBron. Until you flip out one of those guys for a Kawhi, what it is, it's, to use a Spades term, I got 1 in 4 possibles. I got LeBron that I know can do that, and Lonzo probably can. But like Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram is your small ball 3, Kyle Kuzma, okay, maybe eventually at some point. But in 2018-19, when the Warriors are a well-oiled machine who just added an additional engine, that's not who the Lakers are competing with. Lakers got to worry about being better than Portland. They got to worry about being better than Utah. Like, if they can steal a game from Golden State, if they're lucky enough to play them in the playoffs, all right, we'll get there when we get there. But that's not, I think, the realistic discussion right now.
The death lineup?
The death lineup, eventually they're going to get to that. Eventually they're going to get to that, but you need another superstar. You need another guy that can command a double team. You need another guy that can get you a bucket in the fourth quarter. Because the way the NBA is situated now, we can have a lot of conversations about the regular season. I know it is still somewhat important, but to me, when you break down these comparisons, it's about what's going to happen in the postseason. What would the Lakers look like? And the person I've tried to avoid talking about is Lakers, as good as they want to be, they still don't have an answer for Kevin Durant.
Right, and that's why if you want to talk about a death lineup with them or their version of it, if you flip out in that lineup I just said, Kyle Kuzma for Kawhi Leonard, and then all of a sudden, LeBron's your 5. Yes. LeBron will eat Draymond's lunch. Kawhi can check Kevin Durant, and then you're talking about Ingram in year 3, because we're talking about a year from now. Or Ingram in year 4, pardon me. Lonzo in year 3. Like, okay, now we can start to actually say, like you said, you might not even have to squint. Yeah. And you can say, we can figure this out.
Yeah. Right now, Golden State are grown men.
Sure.
And the Lakers are kids.
Yeah.
Right.
All right?
Youngest team LeBron's played on since his rookie year.
Yeah. Nick will call you when they grow up.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.